Okay, today we have Chapter 2, the accounting cycle during the period. If I didn't call you, it's already got you. How many people had an opportunity to read Chapter 2? A little bit. You don't have the book yet. Okay. So what's the process? We identify transactions. Some things require recording, some things don't. Those that do, we call transactions. We journalize the transactions. We post to T accounts. We balance the T accounts. We take a trial balance. And then we make the financial statements. This is the foundation of all accounting. Everything starts here. If you're going to become an accountant, you're going to take a lot more classes in accounting. All the classes that deal with financial accounting, of which of your 10 classes, roughly 7 of them will deal with financial accounting. This is the foundation. No matter what you do after this, if this isn't right, nothing else will be. Let's get some practice making journal entries from transactions. Always keep in mind that we're the company. We're not the individuals, we're the entity, that's the corporation. So we sell shares of common stock for $25,000. What's going to be the entry to record this transaction?
Cash or bank or equity. Cash or bank or common stock.
Okay, so debit cash, 25,000. Credit common stock, 25,000.
We'll write the notes under it or not?
You mean the explanation?
Yeah.
In general, in practice, it's a good idea to write the explanation. We're not going to do it here because we have the thing right above it. And sometimes, most people use computerized accounting systems, and they have a description field where you can fill in whatever you want. A lot of times I say to myself, it's obvious. I'm not going to forget. I always forget. So I try to make sure I use the note field, especially if the number is a result of the calculation. It's really handy to have it on the side. So as a general rule, yes, put an explanation in, but we're going to skip that. The debit is on the left, the credit is on the right, and it's indented. Doesn't have to be that way. You could put the credit first, the debit second. The order doesn't matter. But what is important is that anybody that looks at your journal entry knows what the debit is and what the credit is. You don't want to have ambiguity. So if I said cash 25, common stock 25. Is that obvious what the debit and what the credit is? I'd say yes. I mean, it seems to me the common stock is well out to the right. The words might be aligned, but the numbers have the indent. I would say that's okay. Is that okay? Can you tell what the debit is and what the credit is?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say that's okay. The credit is indented to the right. There'll be times when I'll say to start your entry, start with either the debit or credit, whichever one is obvious to you. Get down what you know, then work to what you don't know. If you know that it's let's say it's a credit to common stock, but you're not sure what the debit is, and you're going to be stuck trying to get the debit, at least get a part of it down. Then figure out the part you don't know. Here's the one that isn't correct. That one would not get you any credit. That says, I'm not sure what the debit is, I'm not sure what the credit is, but let's see if I'll get the credit anyway. Cash comes first, but it's indented to the right. Common stock is to the left and to the right. That one's ambiguous, what the debit and credit is.
What about if we use negative? Is it okay?
There's no such thing as a negative.
We can.
There is no negative numbers in the entries. If you're thinking about we need to reduce something, we do that instead of making a debit to cash, which increases it, we make a credit to cash. So we don't think in terms of pluses and minuses, we think in terms of debits and credits. An alternative, legitimate way to learn accounting is through spreadsheets, where you have a column and you have pluses and minuses to the account. That works, but that's not going to work all the time. I mean, it would work all the time if that's all you ever did. If you ever got into an accounting environment where they use debits and credits, it's a hard transition. So we're just going to think in terms of debits and credits.
The left and right is not distinct.
Right. Remember, we have the T account, and the T account has a left side and a right side. So for assets, expenses, and dividends, the left side increases the balance, the right side decreases the balance. For liabilities and revenue, the right side increases the balance, the left side decreases. So if we want to decrease a balance, we can debit or credit it depending on what it is. We don't need to make a negative debit, for instance. We borrow $10,000 from the bank. So as we think about this, we think about the counts that are affected and what happens to the balance. So if we borrow 10,000 from the bank, what do we get from the bank?
10K cash.
10K in cash. So what goes up?
Cash.
Cash. And how do we make cash go up?
Debit cash.
Debit cash. And what are we going to credit?
Loan payable, note payable.
Depending on the nature of what it is, some liability, we'll call it loan payable. Yeah?